In this video, I'm going to show you how you can start using YouTube to organically generate traffic, leads, and sales for your business. This will work regardless of what kind of business you're in, whether it's an e-commerce business, a service business, a SaaS business, or even just a local store. And be sure to stick around to the end of this video because if you miss even one of these steps, it could seriously impact your ability to grow using YouTube. Let's get into it. So to start with, let's talk about numbers and expectations of how quickly you can start to see results from using YouTube for marketing your business. So between 2020 and 2021, I gained our first 100 subscribers. But the following year up until now, we then hit 1,000 subscribers. So we 10x'd our growth rate in the past year. So over the course of this video, I'm going to be giving you the 6 most important things that I have learned and really start using YouTube as a serious acquisition channel for the business. It's also worth noting here that in that first year of actually using YouTube for content, we didn't generate any leads or sales from YouTube. It was only in the second year of really using it that momentum started to really pick up and we began to generate both leads and sales. And since starting posting on YouTube frequently, we probably generated just under 6 figures now in sales from YouTube alone, and that's completely organic, no paid advertising. So the first thing I realized after gaining our first 100 subscribers is just how important it is to do research before making videos and approach this from an SEO standpoint, which is search engine optimization. YouTube SEO actually works very, very similar to any type of SEO, whether that be for your website, for your blog, whatever it is. And it's basically about creating content that maps to what somebody might actually be searching for online. The biggest mistake people make, and I made when starting out, is just creating content and giving it titles and names that nobody would be searching for. For example, let's say you run an accountancy firm called Dave's Accounting. The usual thing you see is people uploading videos like how Dave's Accounting can help you with your accounts. The problem with that is nobody is searching for that. Instead, think about what your potential customers would actually be searching for before they even know they need you. Maybe this is how to file accounts as a freelancer, for example, or what expenses can I claim back as a contractor. When you can really start to get into the mindset of your audience, this is what's going to help you to pull them and attract them like a magnet towards your business. This is going to then start generating awareness and generating views on your videos. This is so critical to actually being able to get some visibility for your channel. The issue here that a lot of companies have when they try YouTube is they see what a lot of the big name creators out there are doing using these clickbait headlines like OMG, this just happened. The problem with that is those kind of titles very rarely work for small channels because you're really just relying on YouTube showing your video on their discovery page or in the recommended videos for people, and then the headline just being captivating enough to grab somebody's attention. But as a small channel, you don't really have the clout as such for YouTube to be able to consider showing your video there. You need to first prove yourself that you can actually make valuable content that people want to see. And I genuinely believe from my experience and what I've found is the best way of doing that is to make content that your audience would be searching for. So let's talk about a few more examples. So let's say, for example, you run an organic, eco-friendly skincare brand or deodorant brand. So if your audience are fairly eco-conscious, maybe they're going on YouTube and Google and typing in things like, is deodorant bad for the environment? Or how to recycle my deodorant. If you can make videos answering those questions and then bridging into what your product is doing and how it solves that problem for people, you've got an amazing chance of being able to generate that awareness and then drive traffic to your website for people who would genuinely be interested in what it is you sell. The key here though is you don't just want to sell your products and services in the video. If it's natural to do so, it's fine to mention what you do, but make sure that the video focuses focuses on giving that individual value. After you've watched this video, I would suggest that you go and have a look at some of the videos I've uploaded onto our channel and just see the amount of value that I'm giving away in these videos. I'm not just giving people a glimpse and then saying, oh, come and sign up to us for the rest. I'm giving people everything I know. I'm talking to people about the experience that we've had in the trenches, that we've had from running paid campaigns for clients, from running SEO campaigns for clients. And I'm giving that to people in these videos. And the reason for that is because that then allows you to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about. There's a real fear for a lot of businesses that if they give too much away, that people aren't going to buy from them. But actually the opposite happens. Most people will watch the video, they will start to recognize how much you know, and for a lot of people they will realize that they don't want to or have any inclination to doing that themselves, so they will come to you for help. So be sure to keep the focus on giving value as well in your videos. Another thing you can do to make the research part much easier in terms of what content to come up with is to use either vidIQ or TubeBuddy, which are some great extensions that you can use for YouTube that will give you ideas and topics that you could be making videos about that are relevant to your business. It will even show you the competition for certain keywords and also the search volume as well. It will then give you a score based on your chances of actually being able to rank in position 1 for a certain video if somebody was to type it into YouTube. So if it finds a particular keyword that has very high search volume but very low competition, that will have a higher score. So you then know to make that a priority in terms of the content you're creating, because you've got even more chance of getting ranked and getting lots of views and awareness to your channel. Also, I really want to mention here that YouTube has to be seen as a long-term play. If you're rushing into YouTube because you're desperate to generate business or you're relying on this as your only income stream and you need to get money now, YouTube probably isn't going to be the best channel for you, because if you're trying to rush YouTube and cheat the algorithm and use all these hacks and tactics, you're probably going to fail. If you can keep the emphasis on figuring out what is it people are searching for and creating great content that really helps your audience with issues they are having, you will succeed in the long term. But you have to look at it from that perspective, because if you're constantly trying to find the latest cheats and hacks, you're going to be bouncing from one thing to the next over and over again, and you're never going to be able to pick up the momentum that you need to succeed. Okay, so now that you've done your keyword research, you've found a couple of videos that you can start creating content on, the next thing you need to know is that thumbnails, so the icons, the images that go over your videos, are absolutely essential if you want to start getting views on your videos in the first place. If you just think about how you use YouTube yourself, it's really going to be the thumbnails 9 times out of 10 that grab your attention as you're scrolling through all of the options available to you. So if you've uploaded a video that doesn't have any sort of custom thumbnail, it's going to be near impossible for you to get any clicks unless you're the only video with an answer to that question. Now, if you look through the Elevate Digital channel, you'll see that we've had a real evolution in terms of our thumbnails over the past couple of years, and this has really just been through experimentation and me playing about to find out what works and what doesn't. Some of the biggest things I've noticed are that faces make a massive difference. So having a face on the video, a smiling face preferably, can really make a huge difference to getting people to click through. The other thing is having big, bold text and not too many words. The more words you have on there, the harder it is for people to read at a glance as they're scrolling. So if you can keep the words ideally to about 3 or 4 to sum up what that video is about, you're going to have a much better chance of getting clicks. Also, different font sizes and colors can make it easier for it to stand out and make it more digestible for people, again, to read that thumbnail at a glance and see what the video is about. Another little tip for thumbnails here is that the app TubeBuddy, on one of their paid plans, they actually allow you to do A/B testing on 2 different thumbnails. So what that basically means is that 50% of searchers on YouTube are going to see one thumbnail and another 50% will see a different thumbnail. So you can then monitor that over the course of, say, a month and see which thumbnail is getting the most clicks. you can then set the winner as your primary thumbnail, and you can continue to do this throughout the life of this video. So let's play this out. Let's say you start ranking for a keyword that gets 1,000 searches a month, and let's say you have one thumbnail that's only getting a 1% click-through rate. That means you're only going to get 10 views a month on that video. But then you find another thumbnail is actually getting a 10% click-through rate. That's 10 times the amount of views you could be getting just from optimizing your thumbnail. So if you start seeing videos that you do get ranking in the top positions on YouTube, optimizing and testing your thumbnails over time is absolutely essential. Okay, so this next one may be about to save you a hell of a lot of time and money. But one of the biggest things I've noticed is that higher production doesn't mean more views and more subscribers. One of our top performing videos on YouTube was a 2-minute video I made using a screen recording platform called Loom. I literally clicked the button, press record, and showed people how to find a particular tracking code in Google Analytics. Since uploading it, that video has had over 50,000 views and hundreds of comments from people thanking me for giving them the answer they were looking for. I've then had videos that I've spent hours and hours editing, making really fancy and scripting out, and they've only had 100 views. And this again just comes back to the fact that when you focus on value over trying to make your videos look really fancy or look really professional, value always wins. Another observation here is that a lot of the feedback I got on that video was from people saying how thankful they were that it just got straight to the point and it didn't have all this waffle at the start about what I'm going to be covering and how they should subscribe to the channel. It literally just showed them how to solve the problem that they had. Now, I do think it's also important to have videos like this one that also work on kind of building that relationship. So I now try to break my videos down into 2 types. First are the practical walkthrough videos. So these are the videos where somebody has a very particular problem, like they can't find the tracking code in their analytics, and it's literally a walkthrough video where people can open up YouTube, they can watch my video, and they can follow the steps at the same time as actually doing it. So these are the really, really practical videos that you're solving a very specific problem and you're showing people step by step exactly how to do it. Those kind of videos tend to get really great engagement, really great views, and also build your subscriber base because you're really helping people solve a specific problem that they have. The other type of videos I do are more long form content like this one, where I'm giving you tips and strategies, but I may be talking a bit more about the theory and maybe educating a bit more, but also just allowing you to get to know me a bit better, right? It's not just cold and to the point. It's almost like we're having a conversation. I think these videos are important for building that trust and building that relationship. And it also helps to demonstrate authority and expertise as well. So I think having a mixture of both of these videos can really help to grow your channel at a faster rate. Now the next piece, and this is really important if you actually want to start generating leads or sales from YouTube, is that you need to have a call to action in at least some of your videos. So what that means is that you're basically asking somebody to take a particular action either throughout your video or at the end of your video. Now the key here is that you don't want this to feel forced or repetitive, and it should feel like a very natural next step for somebody to take after watching your video. I always use this analogy of proposing marriage on the first day. Let's say, for example, I've done a video about how to set up your Facebook ads account. If I then have a call to action at the end which says, oh, come and book a call with us, it's maybe too much too soon. To give you an example here, I made a video on how to create a customer avatar or buyer persona a little while ago. And in the middle of that video, I mentioned to people that we actually have a free customer avatar worksheet people can download, and I put a link to it in the description of the video. People can then come onto our website, they can go onto the blog, and they can download the worksheet from that blog by putting in their name and email address. That allows us to generate a lead that then goes into an email sequence where we build that trust and we build that relationship over time. Or for example, if I'm talking about conversion rate optimization and how to get more leads and sales from your website, I might then bridge that at the end of the video into the fact that we offer free website and marketing reviews, where one of our experienced digital strategists will go through your website for free and record you a 10 to 15 minute video screen share showing you how to start generating more traffic, leads and sales from your site. And yes, that was a shameless plug. So if you do want to book your website review, there'll be a link in the comments below where you can do that. So the next thing I learned is how important it is to optimize for watch time. So to my knowledge, this is still one of the main things the YouTube algorithm is looking for when it's deciding how high it should rank a video. So again, if a couple of people watch your video, but they click off after the first 5 seconds, that says to YouTube it's probably not very good quality content. Whereas if you start getting even just a couple of views, because YouTube show it to a few people and those people are viewing all the way through, that says to YouTube it's probably great content. So it gives YouTube more incentive to want to show that video to more people organically. So it's really important that you're optimizing for watch time in the videos. So you might be asking yourself, well, how do I do that? Well, one of the most important things you can do here is to give people a reason to stick around to the end. To give you an example of this, let's rewind back to the start of this video. And be sure to stick around to the end of this video, because if you miss even one of these steps, it could seriously impact your ability to grow using YouTube. So you see how I gave you an incentive and a reason to want to stick around at the end because of how important it is that you follow all of these steps. Another thing you can do, and you may have seen this done in other videos, but you could maybe say, I'm going to give you 7 of these tips and make sure you stick around to the end, because number 4 and number 7 might just surprise you. So you're injecting a bit of curiosity in to keep people staying on that video. Now, when you've got practical walkthrough videos like I was talking about earlier, when you're doing a video screen share, this is actually fairly easy to do because people need to stick around to see how to follow all the steps to achieve the outcome. But when you're doing more long form content like this, making quick cuts is also really important to retaining your watch time. The first couple of videos I did, I was umming and ahhing a lot. I had a lot of gaps in sentences, whereas you'll probably notice with this one, there's very, very quick cuts between sentences. And the reason I do that now is because I've noticed the watch time is significantly higher the quicker I keep the cuts, because I'm constantly then engaging with people. The momentum is there, as opposed to there being long pauses and people just getting bored and clicking off the video. So depending on the type of video you are doing, if you're going to do a talking head video, you'll want to make sure you're using things like B-roll footage like this in the background and different cuts to make sure that people stay engaged and captivated on the video. Now, the final point here is to monitor your trends and analytics over time. YouTube Studio is a great way of doing this, and it allows you to see all kinds of metrics, from the watch time of your videos to the average subscriber rate. So this gives you things to think about in terms of how you can start optimizing your videos for those metrics. For example, if you're seeing that you've got a very low view to subscription rate, maybe that's a sign that you need to start giving more calls to actions for people to subscribe to the channel. Or maybe if you see a lot of people dropping off after the first 15 seconds, you need to think about how you're positioning that video at the start and making it clear that you're going to solve the problem that people have. However, it's worth saying here that there's no point obsessing over these numbers too early on, until you get to at least 500 subscribers or several thousand views on some of your videos, because if you have videos that only have, say, 5 or 6 views on them, those analytics aren't really going to tell you much, because you don't really have enough data to make any real informed decision. So to begin with, just focus on those previous steps of creating great quality content that people are going to be searching for. Then when you start seeing the numbers pick up, you start ranking for a lot of videos organically, that's when you want to start looking at the trends and seeing what's working and what's not. So there you have it, guys. I really hope that video has helped. And if you want some more ideas for marketing your business and getting better results out of your marketing, I'm going to link to 2 videos now for both B2B lead generation businesses or e-commerce businesses selling online, to help you get better results from your advertising. So just choose the one that applies the most to you, and I'll see you there.